Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap that notification bell and like this video. That helps me to keep making videos. I'd appreciate it majorly. And it's being reported. That Jeffrey Epstein's pilots are being subpoenaed by the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. Okay. And, so I remember seeing that article over at the Daily Mail. I didn't make a video about it. I didn't really care that much about it. About the pilot, who goes by the moniker Captain Big Dog, or that's his call signal over at Instagram. And he had an Instagram account with lots of pictures of Jeffrey's planes. They're in the it's now deleted. They're in the Daily Mail article. I'll go through some of those pictures, but this picture wasn't in the Daily Mail article. It was from July 18th is when Daily Mail ran their story. And I'll get to the sort of the news of the day today, which isn't huge news. Although, I mean, these pilots are, they're significant in the case. Everybody knows about the Lolita Express and all that. Although it seems like nobody cares anymore because Trump's in the picture. It's crazy though. I mean, I never saw this photo, and it's over at the Washington Examiner, Daily Dot. It's not in the Daily Mail piece. I've been wondering about the Daily Mail. Definitely, Daily Mail has been awfully pro-Trump recently, and that it's not any one publication. I mean, it's these journalists can be very easily influenced because of job offers, any number of things, cash, whatever, you name it, dude. But I've noticed that the Daily Mail can be rather pro-Trump, and anyways. So, but I didn't see this photo. This is from December. This obviously that's Kellyanne Conway. That's the pilot. That's his main pilot, and there's a number of them. But he is, I think, the main pilot that, because Jeffrey Epstein didn't just have a plane. I think he had a couple planes, maybe a helicopter. I mean, and he had many different pictures on there. I'll go through just a few of the posts over at the Daily Mail. But I didn't see this. This is from December 28th, 2016. This is after Trump had already won the election. This is in Palm Beach International Airport. And there's Kellyanne Conway being pictured with, the pilot of Jeffrey Epstein, And I think this photo, when it started to circulate, is what prompted him to delete his account. That's what I think the Washington Examiner says, and so does the Daily Dot. Tell you on YouTube, there's not a single video about this. There's in fact a video even going over the Washington Examiner article and some of the things in it, but it does not bring this up, dude. It's so crazy, man. And there's so many, I don't know if people are in denial, which is probably what it is, likely, but many of these Trump supporters are completely full of shit. Totally. And because it's so, it's so obvious. I mean, I'll end with the Clinton body count. It's so ridiculous, man. But let's just go over what they're saying. I mean, there's not a ton of news on this, other than they've been subpoenaed. And it is pilots. It's not. We don't know how many. Who is it? But that's his main guy, supposedly. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan have subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's longtime personal pilots, according to people familiar with the matter, as investigators seek to question the financier's employees in the wake of his indictment on sex trafficking charges. The grand jury subpoenas were served on the pilots earlier this month after Jeffrey Mr. Epstein's arrest on July 6th. Some of the people said Mr. Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after he returned from Paris on a private jet. A lawyer for one of the pilots confirmed the subpoena but declined to provide further details. It couldn't be determined what information the subpoena sought, how many pilots were subpoenaed, or whether the pilots have agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. My guess is they are. Testimony from the pilots could be used by federal investigators in their efforts to corroborate accounts from Mr. Epstein's accusers. They could also provide detail on Mr. Epstein's travels and his associates. Some of the pilots were responsible for keeping flight logs of passengers who flew on Mr. Epstein's jet, according to court filings. Mr. Epstein, who was denied bail and will remain in federal custody pending trial, etc., etc. So, like I said, just to quickly show you some of the photos that were from that dude's Instagram account are here. But, you know, when this article came out, I didn't even bother making a video about it. I just didn't pique my interest that much. But I can assure you, had I seen the photo of Kellyanne Conway and him together in Palm Beach International Airport on December 28, 2016, after Trump had been elected, you know, when he was president-elect, I would have made a video, for sure. So, and there's no mention of it in this article to the best of my knowledge. I mean, I can go through this hassle of doing that, but... That's a big goose egg right there, dude. So, I can't remember what I had highlighted down there. It basically goes into the 727, which was his main plane that I think might have been the Lolita Express or whatever, you know. You know it, dude. This is big trouble for Trump. This is all heading towards Trump. And it's not because Trump was a pedophile. That's not my accusation. You know that's not my accusation. My theory is that Hillary Clinton lost the election on purpose and that somehow he was able to blackmail her. And now this is how it looks like he was able to do it, in my opinion. It's just a theory. Sorry. Oh, because I did that search for her name. I lost the... So it says that... let me just put myself down so I don't have to worry about it. You know, in 2015, victim Virginia Roberts filed a lawsuit against the billionaire, claiming that he recruited her as a sex slave at the age of 15, sexually abusing her for years on his private jet, as well as his various homes in New York, New Mexico, Florida, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. According to FAA records, the 727 was registered to Gege Inc., Epstein's Delaware firm, 2018. In 2018, and the registration appears active. However, a recent report claimed court filings showed that Epstein sold the aircraft weeks before his July 6th arrest. Regardless, this 727 has been a firm fixture in Epstein's life for the past 2 decades. His pilot, personal pilot, Visoski, that's the dude who I was pictured with Kellyanne Conway, posted a photo of the jet taking off in July 2014 with the tag "Going home to Seattle, landing at BFI Boeing Field." One of his Instagram friends asked the experienced pilot how long he's been flying 727s, and he replied, "Flying the three-holer about 14 years now, includes 3 times around the world. She's got the room." The 727 is often referred to as a three-holer because of its 3 engines clustered around the tail. Visoski has long been seen as the man who could hold the key to Epstein's sordid lifestyle, but for more than 2 decades, he has remained tight-lipped and dodged questions from reporters. Visoski has not been accused of any role in Epstein's crimes. He did not respond to multiple requests by Daily Mail TV for comment. I didn't even really need to read that. Don't ask me why I highlighted it. Anyways, let me continue. So, like I said, over here is, you know, this is the post, and it just says Kellyanne got a chance to meet a very humble and gracious lady. Hashtag Kellyanne Conway. Hashtag Kellyanne. Hashtag Trump. Hashtag election 2016. The post that likely spurred Visoski to delete his account was a selfie that he took and posted in late 2016. With then-top Trump presidential transition team member and now counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, at Palm Beach International Airport, which drew attention on Twitter earlier this week. Visoski, who included hashtag MAGA included hashtag MAGA on many of his posts, described Conway as a very humble and gracious lady. Conway told the Washington Examiner she did not remember taking the specific picture, but allowed people, she said, were unfamiliar to her to take selfies with her at Palm Beach International after she arrived from New York for meetings with then President-elect. Visoski lives in Palm Beach and many of the trips are plane rides or helicopter trips from Miami or Palm Beach International Airport to Epstein's homes in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So they don't know each other. This is just that he just saw her and took a picture of her. Then it's possible, I suppose. I mean, it was Trump was just at the press conference saying that he's hasn't talked to Epstein in 15 years. In 15 years, they're not friends. They had a falling out. Whatever. It was December 28th is the exact date that picture was taken. A few days after Epstein's arrest, an Instagram picture emerged that appeared to show Epstein pilot Larry Visoski posing with senior Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway on December 28th in Palm Beach, long after the last time Trump claims he spoke with Epstein. Visoski, going by the screen name Captain Big Dog, appears to be smiling as he posted with Conway, whom he called very humble and gracious lady. A day after it started making the rounds, both it and Visoski's Instagram page have been deleted, but Visoski definitely is or was Epstein's personal pilot, and Conway was in Palm Beach at the time. While the picture is almost certainly real, there's no indication of anything sinister behind it or any particular significance to it at all. It might be true that a senior Trump advisor met with the pilot of a convicted sex offender, but that doesn't mean either Conway or Trump ever met with Epstein around the time it was taken. She might not have even known he had a connection to Epstein. It's simply a picture of two people, not evidence of sinister conspiracy or horrible crime. For the record, Trump was in Florida at the time. The 28th was the day of his bizarre press conference with Don King at Mar-a-Lago. So Trump was there. Well, Trump was in Palm Beach at that time, not in New York City. Because she says she's returning with a meeting from Trump in New York City with then President-elect. I mean, that's what it says at the Washington Examiner when she was contacted. Conway told Washington Examiner she did not remember taking that specific picture, but allowed people, she said, were unfamiliar to her to take selfies with her at the Palm Beach International after she arrived from New York meetings with the then President-elect. But this says the president was in Florida at the time. She might not have even known he had a connection to Epstein. It's simply a picture of two people, not evidence of a sinister conspiracy or horrible crime. For the record, Trump was in Florida at the time. The 28th was the day of his bizarre press conference with Don King at Mar-a-Lago. All right. So, if you recall, Trump met with, according to Sam Nunberg, a former Trump Organization employee, and Michael Cohen on the 26th floor in Trump's office at the Trump Tower. Met with David Pecker in February of 2015, before he had announced his run for presidency, and weeks before he appeared at CPAC, had an interview with Sean Hannity. He was asked about Bill Clinton. But according to Sam Nunberg and Michael Cohen, David Pecker brought an episode that would be running soon about Epstein and Prince Edward's. And according to this article, and this journalist talked with both Sam Nunberg and Michael Cohen from his prison cell in Otisville, I believe. It's very recent. According to both of them, because Michael Cohen corroborated what Sam Nunberg told the journalist. She primarily spoke to Sam Nunberg, but Michael Cohen corroborated it. According to her and Sam Nunberg, Donald Trump said that David Pecker said that Epstein had told him the pictures he has of Bill Clinton at the island are even worse. I guess worse than Prince Edward's. Let me find the exact. I mean, here's the headline, the subheadline, whatever. In the moments before he ran for president, Donald Trump was in conversation with National Enquirer owner David Pecker about his old acquaintance Jeffrey Epstein and how his sexual abuse scandal might affect the Clintons. Trump said that Pecker had told him that the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse, recalls former Trump Organization employee, which is Sam Nunberg. I mean, this is of him meeting with Sean Hannity at CPAC before he had actually even ran, and he was being on stage interviewed during a lightning round. Sean Hannity, when Trump, then flirting with presidential run, was fielding softballs from Fox News host Sean Hannity when a lightning round of questions turned to a favorite topic, Bill Clinton. Nice guy, Trump said. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein, he added, seemingly veering off topic. Lots of problems. He brings it up. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. That's Trump's answering Hannity's question about, what's your views on Bill Clinton at CPAC. David Pecker, bringing along an issue with a Prince Andrew and Epstein-related cover. According to people familiar with the meeting, Pecker, of course, was in the business of protecting Trump, etc. Nunberg recalled, he said not to tell anyone. That's Trump. But that Pecker had just been there and had brought the issue with him. Trump said that Pecker had told him that the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse. Cohen, speaking by phone from a federal correction institution in Otisville, corroborated Nunberg's version of events, though he declined to add any additional information about the meeting. Again, my theory is that Hillary Clinton lost the election on purpose, and I couldn't figure out why all this time. I've thought this for some time, and now it seems, my theory is that he was able to blackmail her. And I'm sure he was probably complicit after the fact, because there's many of things that suggest that, and I'm not going to get into that here. But that's my theory. And it just so happens, so Kellyanne Conway's taking a selfie with Epstein's pilot on December 28th, after Trump's been elected, in Palm Beach International Airport. Then, after Trump wins, just by coincidence, he names to be his labor secretary the one person who oversaw and approved the sweetheart plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein back in 2007, 2008 in the Southern District of Florida, which is where this has all been about. This all came about from the reporting by the Miami Herald about that sweetheart deal, that the victims weren't, made aware of it, etc., etc. And not only that, but I'm trying to find the link. Other U.S. attorneys that were part of that plea deal, I don't know how many U.S. attorneys were involved. One of them became the undersecretary at the Treasury Department, third in line, two beneath the Secretary of Treasury, Mnuchin. And another one was looked at to become the head of the FBI after Trump fired Comey. Now, why would he do that? Why would 3 out of the 6 people that I know of that have been reported on that were part of the sweetheart plea deal that gave Epstein basically let him go home every day, 6 days a week, the work release, etc., the prison sentence for 13 months that wasn't really a prison sentence, and allowed him to avoid federal prosecution. Why would 3 out of the 6 attorneys end up in Trump's administration? One of them didn't didn't take the job for whatever reason. I wish I could find that. I know I bookmarked it, but I don't want to have to stop this. Acosta. Acosta wasn't only one. Sorry. If I stop it for some. Acosta wasn't the only one. Jeffrey Epstein's legal team reveals names of 5 former prosecutors who approved the 2008 deal who have ties to the Trump administration. I've already been over this, but why have all these things that line up after Trump's wins? He ends up naming Acosta to be his labor secretary, the lead U.S. attorney who approved the deal. He was the head, okay. But there are other U.S. attorneys, the part of it. One was this woman, Sigal Mandelecker, who became the undersecretary of the Department of Treasury. Her title's a little bit longer than that, but she's like third in line, third from the top, so 2 underneath Mnuchin. And this woman, Alice Fisher, who turned down the job or who didn't take the job, or she wasn't hired for the job, but she was being looked at to head the FBI after Trump fired Comey. Coincidence? I seriously doubt it. And I seriously doubt that a lot of the people that make comments in my videos think it's a coincidence either. No way, dude! And that's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.